Hey everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, and on today's video we're going to be taking inspiration from a fellow booktuber and looking back on one of my previous book hauls. I was inspired to do this by Pages with Paige, and if you haven't seen her channel, she is an Australian booktuber. She's really lovely and awesome, and please go check her out. And basically what she did is she went through her February of 2020 book haul and sort of did a little bit of a look at the books that she'd read, not read, unhauled, etc. And then from all the books that she hadn't yet read that she still had a copy of, she then put a poll up for everyone to vote for her to read that next. And I thought that'd be a really cool thing to do. So I'm going to go through a haul that's it's about a year old. I think it is a year old now. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark off ones that I've read, unread, etc. I will also mark off DNFs and they'll be put down here. All the books that I have unread, I am going to put in a poll for you guys to choose, and I will include it in my February books. And then any books that I have either DNF'd or that I have unhauled without reading, I am going to, for every 3 of those, because I don't feel that there's going to be that many, but for every 3 of those, I'm going to draw from my Go to Hell jar, which is a jar that features in my Hero TBR game that I will link above if you would like to know more about that. And so these are books that I'm kind of reluctant to get to for one reason or another. And so I will also add those on to next month's read. So hopefully I'll only get a maximum of about 3, maybe 4 books that I need to add, because I don't want too many, because I do like to have my mood reads and I do want to have more of a selection. So we're going to see how it goes, and I might change things up a little bit depending on how we go. But for now, we are going to step back in time to the start of 2022 and have a look and see what books I got for. This was the books I hauled in winter 2022, so that included Christmas of 2021, my birthday, and then a couple of charity shop hauls, if I remember correctly. Let's go. These are the ones that I got over Christmas. So we got House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. Starting off strong with a book that not only have I unread, I unhauled it without reading it. I got The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I have read that. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and it was a very nostalgic thing for someone who was a major in science, so it was quite nostalgic for me. Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, which I DNF'd this. I got it because I really wanted to finish the series and because I really loved Marshall and Benedict's stories at Marshall. But I started reading it, I got 80 pages in, and I was like, I am so bored and confused and I don't know what the heck's going on. And so yeah, I ended up DNFing that one, unfortunately. So that is my first DNF. But I did at least try it. Upstairs, I also have Vespertine by Margaret. Vespertine, I have not yet read. The Gilded Cage, which is book 2 in the prison. I have not yet read The Gilded Cage, and again, that is one I do still own, so that is also going to be a poll option. And that was The Ice Sea Pirates by Frida Nilsson. The Ice Sea Pirates by Frida Nilsson is another one that's going to go straight on the poll. And then in January was my birthday. We went charity shopping. I had a stack of about 10 or 11 books and it all came to less than £4. But I've got The Thursday Murder Club from Richard Osman. I unhauled that without reading it. Crazy Rich Asian. Also DNF'd on the first page of reading because it was just so convoluted and confusing. Shadows on the Moon. I have not read this one and I do still have it, so again, this one will go into the poll. Wonderland, A Year of Britain's Wildlife Day by Day by Brett Westwood and Stephen Moss. I have that on the go, and that is a book that I'll be reading throughout the entirety of the year because it's a book that you get an entry per day. So I've caught up with that and I'm now going to be reading that daily, so that's not going to be... I'm counting that as a read, even though it's a currently reading. Boneless Mercies by April Genovese Tucholke. Yeah, I haven't read this either. There were some more in that pile, but they are at my dad's, so I'm not going to be including them for this video. So next up we have a few charity shop hauls.
First one that I got is Blackberry Blue.
I have read this. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really sweet and it was a lovely little collection of children's stories from around the world.
We then had The Ninth Child by Sally Magnuson.
I haven't read that one. That is upstairs still waiting to be read.
And the final one we have is Those Above by Daniel Polanski.
Yep, I was right. So Those Above, Daniel Polanski, again, unread, and is currently sat on my shelves upstairs. I have a lot more unread books than I was expecting.
So the first one was The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder.
Nope, I haven't read that.
The next book that arrived was Realmbreaker by...
Haven't read this. Do I still have it? Yes, I do.
The next book is Malice, which is another...
You guessed it! That brings us up to 10 unread books. Woo!
Next up, we have one that I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on because it's so far into series.
Last Gardener Leanie Sing. Of course I've read this. I read it the day it arrived.
And the most recent one, which I have read and I will be doing a review of in my wrap-up, and I have Serious.
I know what this is, yep.
Which is book 2 in the Crescent City.
I knew that was what that was going to be. So yeah, House of Sky and Breath I have read. We know what I thought of that book, so let's just not go into it. So that was the haul for a year ago, and that was the books that I got over winter, and as you can see, didn't do great. So here's the overall. We have 6 read books. We have 6 read books, 10 unread, 2 that I unread and unhauled before I read them, and then 2 DNFs. What I'm going to do, because there are so many unread, that's going to be a massive poll. So I think I'm going to assign a number to each of those books. I'm going to do a random number generator, and I'm going to select 3 at random, and then I will make a poll over on Twitter and Instagram for you guys, and my community tab on YouTube. I keep forgetting I have one of those now. So yeah, I will put polls around here and there for you guys to vote, and one of the 3 will go on to next month's TBR. I'm out of breath now because I just went running upstairs to get the books that came out in that number thing. So the 3 books that came out of me doing the random number generator were Those Above by Daniel Polanski, which is like an epic high fantasy following like a rebellion and a war and things like that. We have Shadows on the Moon by Zoe Marriott, which is a YA fantasy, and she's on a quest to kill a guy, but then she might be falling in love with him, I think is pretty much the premise of this one. And then we have The Ninth Child by Sally Magnuson, which is an adult historical thriller, I believe. Like, yeah, historical thriller type thing. So 3 very different books, 3 very different authors, none of which I've ever read, and none of which I've really seen anyone talking about. So I don't think I've ever seen anyone mention any of these books on their channels. So this is going to make for a very interesting poll to see which one is going to be chosen. And yeah, hopefully by the time I do my February TBR game, I will have at least one of these to put on there. And then I had 4 unread / unhauled and DNF, so that means I'm going to choose 1 book from the Go to Hell jar, and that's going to go onto February's TBR sort of book list. And we have one that has a fairy attached to it. I have a fairy. And we have Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, which is an audiobook, which is great because I do need to read more audiobooks because I have not yet even started one. Yeah, I've not started any yet. So that'll be one that'll be added to February. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts below. Don't forget to go check out on my social medias, which I will be linking below as well. So if you want to get a vote in on those polls, you've got up to 3 opportunities to vote for your favourite book. Thanks for watching. Thank you to Paige for giving me the inspiration for this, and I hopefully will see you guys on the next video. So I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe. Bye.